everything related to sports. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. This weekend was long. Oh, what didn't happen this weekend? So there was the F1 in Bahrain. I told you about the lady that was suspended because of the
Mm-hmm.
complaint she brought against. And now there's another suspension coming, a big one. So Marco Helmut, who has been at Red Bull as one of the race directors, may be suspended because it is alleged that he was the one who leaked the messages to the media. So
Hmm.
everybody else getting suspended but the
Right.
culprits. All right.
Interesting
so what?
times.
so what else happened this weekend? Apart from the F1 this weekend, there were NBA games and there was a fantastic LA Lakers comeback. But all of that, nobody even has time to talk about those things because we have the Africa games where Nigeria is cleaned out yesterday with 6 gold medals. We'll touch on that. We have the tennis going on in Indian Wells. We have the boxing um, that went on over the weekend. And then we'll be touching on the big one, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Should Liverpool have had a penalty in the dying minutes of that match? All of this and more on the locker room. But before we do that, Zibby, how can we be a part of this fantastic locker room this morning?
Well, you can send your messages across to us via WhatsApp 0809 4440981. You could tweet at smooth981. The hashtag is locker room 981. And of course, we're streaming live on our YouTube channel, Smooth981. Where's the camera? Right there. Okay. Hello, Smooth981 on YouTube. And don't forget, you can even post a comment underneath that live stream.
All right. Omas, can we have the headlines very quickly? Thank you.
On the bill this morning, African Games, Oborodudu Adekroye shine as Nigerian wrestlers win 6 gold medals. Fury Hills Joshua over Ngannou knockout says, I'm ready to fight him. Then Alcaraz mows down Orja Alisim in Indian Wells. I hope he didn't drown. But then goes on, enjoy the ride, says Van Dyke, as three-way Premier League title race tightens. A real sweep past hapless Celta to stay clear in La Liga. Then there will be Lecce condemned manager Aversa to headbutting Verona player. As there will be Arsenal pain pushing Leverkusen title run, says Chaka. And then Newcastle Trippier to miss 2 next games with injury, according to How.
All right. So those are the stories. Let's quickly go to our brothers in Ghana, where we are doing great.
It was a gold rush for Team Nigeria on day 3 of the ongoing 2024 African Games in Ghana as wrestling raked in 6 gold medals for the country.
Yes. So that federation, the Wrestling Federation, is one of the most well-run federation in the country, and it's not a lot to do with the sports ministry just doling out cash specially to them. It's not football. Football is a darling of Nigerian sports, but also it's what the president has done, Daniel Igali has done with the federation, where they hold camp, using his connections to try and get support, and it's been fantastic, and the team has been delivering on that result. 6 gold medals for the women. I don't want to start the gender war this morning. I'm just saying that when the men played against Uganda, they lost. When the Falconets went there, they won against Morocco 2-0. I like the way Omashe is smiling. Omashe, you have to
Girl
defend your
power.
gender one day, not today, not today. One
Okay.
day. But 6 gold medals, complete sweep. It was so fantastic, from Messi Genesis to Burududu, to Duayo Adekuroye. I finally got her name right. Um, and she lost her mother recently, so this was an emotional one for her. But yes, Nigeria doing good at the Africa Games so far. Remember, we won some medals, 5 medals, I think, with table tennis, not gold, but silver and bronze. And now we have 6 gold from the women in wrestling. And I know there'll be more medals to come. But fantastic display so far by the team Nigeria. at the Africa Games. Hopefully, we'll get more medals. I'm thinking from track. That would be fantastic to see more medals from track and field. But yes, Nigeria doing good so far.
And let's leave our brothers in Ghana and go over now to the Indian Wells, where almost perfect Carlos Alcaraz step up is ATP WTA Indian Wells
You skipped
Masters.
one.
Oh, okay. You just have to wait for us. Let's get into this next one, which is the fisticuff issues here. Well, we'll go on to WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury has hailed Anthony Joshua following his victory over former UFC champion Francis Ngannou on Friday night in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and this is what I've always said about Anthony Joshua. Look, I don't care if people have not yet sat down. I don't care if they have not yet bought their popcorn. If you see an opening to knock somebody out, knock him out. I think what had happened, I remember Mike Tyson's fight. Before you blink, the fight is over. So people started coming early because he could knock somebody out any second, literally. And let people come early and sit early for the fight if they know what is good for them. And I like what he did. And I would say this about Ngannou. Ngannou did not sell out. What the problem was that he was so cautious against. He had heard so much against Tyson Fury, how Tyson Fury is the best boxer around, right, heavyweight boxer around right now. And so when he got into the ring, he was a little more cautious. He had his defensive oars up, his footwork was up. So they were dancing around a lot with Tyson Fury. And so he felt like if I could get away from Tyson Fury doing with that, that means I can take Anthony Joshua, who has fallen on great, well, should I say ungraceful times in recent time, and so he wasn't as strategic or as tactical or as cautious with Anthony Joshua. He came out to fight Anthony Joshua, and I'm like, you don't ever do that, because I don't care what kind of UFC fighter you are. In a boxing ring, the boxer has the advantage. They know the technique, they know timing, they know rhythm, and that's what got him off. Rhythm and timing. Because every time he looked like he had the upper hand and he was, going to get one against Anthony Joshua, he was literally walking into Anthony Joshua's right hook, and it was a problem. And so, unfortunately for him, he didn't respect, if I could use that word, Anthony Joshua as much as he respected Tyson Fury, and that's what cost him this knockout. But for AJ, it was a fantastic one. Knocked him out. The guy. Let's ask the guy his name today. Maybe it's today that he will know his name, because that punch connected.
But after hitting the canvas, he had to say that he didn't even feel it. It wasn't like he didn't even feel the knockout.
Sorry, that was his. That was adrenaline talking. I say ask him today whether he still knows his name. That thing connected. So I would say this. Tyson Fury is now saying that he can't wait to face AJ, and a lot of people are calling for that fight. I'm just going to say, AJ, please, I still love you. It's not time to get into the ring with Tyson Fury. I'm just saying, because sometimes people approach fights differently. Like I said, Ngannou thought, if I could stand the best heavyweight boxer in Tyson Fury, I can do AJ very easily. And this is how he was knocked out in round 2. I'm just saying that if AJ enters the ring with Tyson Fury, there will be not much dancing around. Tyson Fury will take it seriously, and I'm not sure that AJ is ready for that yet. So please, let's just pipe down small.
To have knocked out this man in round 2, doesn't that tell you, for defending my gender this morning in terms of fights, never judge a man by his first round, because the second round might just be the killer punch.
I can't help you, Omatseye.
Oh, wow.
You're bragging against a UFC fighter. He's not even his sport.
He's not a boxer, is he?
He's not even his sport. My friend, read the next story.
All right. Almost perfect Carlos Alcaraz stepped up his ATP WTA Indian Wells Masters title defense with a 6-2, 6-3 victory over Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime on Sunday.
All right. So this one was supposed to be a battle of athletic tennis players, because Felix Auger-Aliassime is also a bit athletic with his style. There is also, but he was playing against a guy that doesn't just have athleticism in his back pocket, he also has some magic. And boy, did Alcaraz spray some magic dust on the day. So fantastic result for OJ Alasim, but sorry, for Carlos Alcaraz. He's made it through OJ Alasim, but there's still many people on the tour that I still think that he cannot defeat. Yannick Sinner is one of them. Yannick Sinner has played 24 matches in 2024 and he's yet to lose one. So if they won the Australian Open, won the 500 tour that he went to, so every tournament he's gone to this year so far, he's won it. So he's the guy that has a better head-to-head record against Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic. So I think that it's going to be a tough one for Carlos to defend his title, but let's wait and see. I've already spoken about Yannick Sinner. He also won his match yesterday. And then he gets to face Ben Shelton. So that will be interesting to see. I still think that he has the better game going head to head with Ben Shelton, and he could win that easily. But it would be interesting for the neutrals to watch. Today is Daniel Medvedev and Novak Djokovic in Indian Wells. So let's see how that pans out.
Tega, still basking and from the fallout of the International Women's Day, could you touch like the women? They're also in this Indian Wells. Help your gender a bit now.
I don't need to help them. Everybody did what they're supposed to do. Yeah. Sabalenka won. Yeah. Iga won. Coco won. No news.
No news. Nobody was there too.
So we are waiting. I'm waiting for news. Today may be the day that a seed falls out. You know, on the men's side, the news is the rivalry. On the women's side, the women are just winning. So we wait till the rivalry begins to come rife, and then we know that, okay, it's time for news.
Okay, let's go over now to get in this next story, which relates to enjoy the ride, says Van Dijk, and then that's Liverpool captain Virgin van Dijk says a 1-1 draw against Manchester City that left three sides separated by just 1 point at the top of the Premier League was a bittersweet for the depleted Reds.
Yeah, I would say this. When you see the injury list that Liverpool have, you should say that Manchester City should have taken advantage of that and come away with all 3 points, at least to not just to get one over Liverpool, but also it was the opportunity for them to top the table. But like I said, in Liverpool now, if you bring their cook, the chef of Liverpool now, give him a Liverpool jersey to play, they will still get something because that's the form they are in right now. Really tough, tricky first half for Liverpool, but second half, I knew they were going to come up with something, and boy, did they do that. Nathan Ake making a mistake and giving away a penalty which caused an injury to Ederson. McAllister equalizing from the spot, and then Liverpool had ample opportunity to win this. The one that pretty much comes to mind is the Diaz miss. But I would say people will say, oh, Diaz missed that, but you have to see how the goalkeeper made himself a little bigger and forced Diaz to pick that side. That was not the first time he was doing that. I think there was another time Nunes had the ball like that one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper kind of blocked that with his body. So it was a brilliant performance. But in the last minute of that match, and people have argued about this, there was a high boot by Doku on McAllister. And a lot of people say, oh, on any part of the pitch, that should be a free kick. But we know from watching football that the fact that it will be a free kick outside the 18-yard box doesn't guarantee that it will be a penalty inside the 18-yard box. So completely different kettle of fish. However, what that has done is it has brought a three-way tie into the last 10 matches of the Premier League. So Arsenal are on top. Yes, the Elephants are on top by goal difference. Liverpool are in second, and then Manchester City are 1 point behind. But based on their last remaining fixtures, and I'm going to open the phone line for this when we come back from the break, based on their last remaining fixtures, who do you think will take the Premier League title? All right, the numbers to call are
0144899981. We'll take your phone
calls. Yeah, we'll take your phone calls after the break. All right. Bye.
So I've noticed when you turn this off and you raise it up, it doesn't come on. You have to manually put it on.
say it's no good. Okay, no.
Obulahansi. So you know what? I just learned a match from you that Obulahansi can have different meanings.
How it's your dollar. You had one. You say why? What does this mean? Say okay, that means it could be okay. That's it.
For the double wahala thing, I was like, wait, what?
Yes. That's what you say. It hits me differently. Like okay, so this is it.
I don't know why that phrase is so catchy. I have Oyibo friends that say Obulahansi because of me. They might not pronounce it the way I would pronounce it, but
Okay. I know.
it just sounds so cool. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Master quality cornflakes.
Are you hungry?
It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. We're back, and Tega's still here inside the locker room. We're expecting your calls to come on board. And Tega, what do you want to know when they call in?
Okay, all right. So the question is, with the last remaining fixtures that all three teams have in the final 10 games of the season, who is most likely to win the title, Arsenal, Liverpool, or Manchester City? I will give my own summation at the end. So let's just take your phone calls. All right, the numbers to call are
0144899981. 0144899981.
And while we wait for the calls to come in, got a few messages in here. Emeka Onelum is sending a message in, and it says, sometimes I wonder what those VAR officials do in that VAR room. That's the video assistant referee room. We also Jeremy Doku going full Jackie Chan on the chest of McAllister, but VAR chose to look away. VAR give it, VAR take it. Everybody must collect. For my Arsenal brethren, turn to your neighbor right now and tell them
It's lonely, lonely, lonely.
And then goes AOI from Oniru with a message here. Liverpool asserted themselves yesterday and made a very bold statement against City despite being depleted side plagued with injuries. Those Liverpool high school kids perform over and beyond. I would say that City were lucky to escape with only a draw. As far as I know they will still bottle very soon, like the bottling company, just waiting for it to happen. But let's race down to YouTube because messages piled up waiting for you here, Tega. Elke Aderoba comes up with say Tega said last week that anything less than a knockout by AJ is a loss. He gave us that. That's what he says. And Oluwaseun's message is waiting.
Aloha Shagun says, good morning, guys in the locker room. Sometimes I wonder why the EPL referees just take the beauty out of the game because the last karate kick on Mac was a penalty. But EPL, as expected, ruined it. Another message says, AJ gave us a flawless knockout on the dude. Even I felt the weight of the punch watching it from home. Ibukun says, Tega, that should have been a penalty despite the fact I'm a Manchester United fan. Abiodun says, Man City will nick this EPL. Liverpool will push them as usual. Ben Davis seems to have looked something, seems to have unlocked something that we haven't seen. Also, AJ's humble stance is commendable. And okay, we can't hear Amas very well. We have to rectify that. Can you hear Amas right now? Okay, I know you can.
All right, let's see if we can hear now. Ibokun from Ibokun Kunu says, okay, let's go on with Tayo's message. Tayo comes up Nigeria, Cameroon.
Greater than Cameroon.
Every defeat against them was a hit back to back. Doku should sign up for UFC against that match, after that match.
All right. So I think ultimately it's going to be tough with the three-way tie: Arsenal, Manchester City, and Liverpool. And the reason why I think it's going to be tough for the elephants at the tree, at the top of the tree, is simply that in order for them to win this title, they'll have to get some mental emancipation. because in their final match, that the last 10 matches, they're going to play Manchester City at home. So they'll be playing at the Etihad. And then they also play Manchester United at Old Trafford. It will be tough because those teams have have psychological advantage over Arsenal. And so for Arsenal to do that, they have to somehow grow a spine, get some cojones with a sprinkling of delusion to try and go to Etihad to beat Manchester City. And then you know that how Manchester United does it. Every time it's Arsenal, somehow they find the extra wing to soar against them. So that's why I think eventually Arsenal will fall away. So this is really a two-way, in my opinion, it's a two-way title horse race.
All right. Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk said a 1-1 draw against Man City that left three sides separated by just 1 point at the top of the Premier League was bittersweet for the.
No. Next story.
Okay. La Liga leaders Real Madrid regained their 7-point cushion at the top of Sunday as they benefited from 2 own goals and a comfortable 4-0 home win over a struggling Celta Vigo.
Yeah, I think that was to be expected. Real Madrid getting the victory against Celta Vigo. What I expected was that Celta Vigo at least put up some kind of fight. They didn't. They just rolled over. And Real Madrid came away with that result. So Real Madrid are now 7 points clear at the top of the La Liga table. Atletico Madrid, shockingly, with all the easy draws on paper, lost on Saturday by 2-0. But what was more important was Barcelona just trying to keep up by winning by 1-0 on Friday. Now, what that means for Barcelona is they've had ample time to rest because tomorrow in the Champions League, Barcelona take on Napoli, and that game is well poised for drama because the first leg ended in a 1-1 draw. Victor Osimhen scored in that, and so Barcelona could be knocked out by an Italian team because Napoli seemed to be on the rise and Barcelona seemed to still be struggling.
Let's go. Lecce, Serie A club Lecce condemned manager Roberto De Avasa after he headbutted Hellas Verona striker Thomas Henry following his side's 1-0 loss at home on Sunday.
I would say this: the Italian Serie A was not interesting in the sense that everybody that's supposed to win won. So Inter Milan won their match to remain 16 points clear. That Scudetto fight is over. Juventus drew as they've been drawing in recent times. AC Milan won by a lone goal. Roma drew their match. But again, their battle was just to get into top four. It wasn't really for title contention. So Syria went as it should have gone this weekend. The only drama was this particular match where there was a headbutt. Now, at the end of the match, Lecce players and Verona players were fighting. They were shoving each other. They didn't like the outcome of the match and they didn't like the results, so they were shoving each other. Now, the coach now said that since he's a mature man, you understand, as a responsible manager, with his head on straight, emotional maturity ready, he now said, let him go on the pitch and get his players off so that they don't get into a scuffle. That's how he went to the pitch. Somebody now said something to him. And in his wisdom, his responsibility, and his maturity, he headbutted the player, striker, the peacemaker that went there to separate fights. Now went there to cause fight. So we're waiting to hear how many match ban he's going to get. But yeah, that was very tough. Thinking that he was the one going on there to separate fight, and then he eventually was the one that got the red card. But yeah, big struggle there. But we're waiting to see what Italia Syria would say about his behavior and then how many match suspension he's going to get. That if he doesn't get his stadium ban, we'll wait to see.
Bayern Leverkusen midfielder Granit Xhaka said on Sunday he has harnessed the pain of losing last year's Premier League title with Arsenal in his season's Bundesliga bid.
Granit Xhaka is now saying because he lost with the title with Arsenal from about the same position in the Premier League last season, that's given him an extra drive. Arsenal is now the morale of the story. Everybody that doesn't want to lose says, I don't want to be like Arsenal. But yeah, Bayer Leverkusen continued their run at the top. They're still 10 points clear with a 2-0 win over the weekend. So whatever is happening, they're keeping up the pace. And I think it's going to be tough to see them lose from here because they're so zoned into winning this Bundesliga. Even when they don't play, yes, I mean, this was it yesterday now. The match wasn't the most convincing, but they still came away with the result. So at this point in time, you're just wondering if there's any way that they would at least lose 3 matches in a row. That's what they need. Maybe 2 matches in a row and have 4 draws. That's a lot to ask from a team that is flying high now. So it's a tough one. It looks like they're going to win the title, but by how many points is now the question.
All right, let's go on to the next story. Newcastle United, a right back, Kieran Trippier, has been ruled out for the next 2 matches with a minor injury and will likely miss England's friendlies later this month. And this is according to manager Eddie Howe.
Well, the big news is that he's missing tonight's match against Chelsea, and you would have said that his crosses are key to Newcastle at least scoring a goal or two. Now, Newcastle haven't really been getting the results like they were at the start of the season when they were threatening everybody with their form. They get some here, they lose some there, and they play against a Chelsea side that is desperately in need of some movement. 11th on the table with some of the players that they have that can be excitable in matches. It's a tough pill to swallow for any owner and even for the players themselves. So this will be another match that, Chelsea will be looking to get all 3 points. And with Newcastle missing 1 or 2 key players here and there, it gives Chelsea ample opportunity to take advantage and then come away with the result. So it's a tough one for Eddie Howe, trying to get results against Chelsea and then missing a key player like Kieran Trippier, but he is going to have to find a way because that's the Premier League for you. Injuries will come. The question is, what can you still get away with when your team is injured? So Chelsea, Newcastle tonight. Let's see how that pans out for the Blues.
That leaves us with messages to close up the locker room this morning. Let's see Mohammed's message, Tega. The league is still between Liverpool and City because the Elephant will drop points against the London teams. They will
I'm
meet.
with you.
They
I'm
will,
with you.
they will meet in their remaining fixtures because the league had too many London teams, which will mean enough local derbies, which will be in their disadvantage for London teams. So let's go to grateful Shegun from Mina. It says, I don't think Arsenal will win the EPL. I think it's between City and Liverpool, but I will lean more towards City because they've been through this situation many times and they know how to navigate it. Shegun from Mina. Then I see a message from Tayo. Tayo says Tega is right about Bottling FC. Nobody called any team's name anyway, but just Bottling FC. The club, the club's an interesting case study. I will not be worried about the top. My question to Zibby is Chelsea going to maintain its 10th place? Zibby, question of the morning to you.
Tayo. Tayo, be nice. It's 8:45 in the morning. You can't do this to me.
And it concludes by saying many UFC fighters are disguising as footballers these days. That's just how he sums up his message.
I know
Then,
what you mean, Bindoku. Really tough one. We were, in fact, I've been looking at some of all the calls that were made, red cards that should have been red cards and weren't. And really, really, I think the Premier League should go and sit down with CAF and negotiate something so that their officiating will be as good as CAF's officiating was.
and so final message on our YouTube channel comes from Elke Aderogba. I've never seen City so dominant in a game. Klopp has done something so exceptional. That challenge was a penalty every day of the week and twice on
And twice
Sunday.
on Sunday.
That's it.
All right. And on that note, want to thank you all for joining us on YouTube. Want to thank you for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Want to thank you for sending in your messages. And hopefully by the time we come on Wednesday, Chelsea will not give us reason to banter. All right, Zibby, you can say your prayers now. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll meet again on Wednesday. It's bye for now.